Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the Viking Solutions Rack Jack 2 hoist and winch for your 2x2 inch hitch receiver. Now there are times when you're by yourself, you don't have anybody to help you out, and you got something really heavy to get up and into your truck bed. And that's where the Rack Jack 2 is going to come in really handy. It's going to be hitch mounted, it's going to have a weight capacity of 300 pounds for you, and it's just going to save you from all that lifting, just save your back. It'll be a fraction of the price of a back surgery. Now, because of the height of it being at 7 feet 8 inches tall from its base here at the hitch receiver, it's also tall enough that it makes for a really good game hoist. So if you're a hunter and you've got, you had a good morning and you've got some game to clean or anything like that, you've got this hoist here to be able to get it up off the ground for you and even swivel it around and load it into your truck bed. So let's take a look. Now, as you can see, when we've got it suspended like this, depending on the weight and the way this is fitting inside your hitch receiver, the mast is going to have a bit of sway to it. One of the things that you can do is get an anti-rattle hitch device to go down there around the shank of this and your hitch receiver in order to keep it a little bit more steady. So the Rack Jack 2 is going to offer all kinds of capabilities for you. First and foremost, it has a 300-pound lift capacity. And at its own weight of 42 pounds by itself, that's putting, almost 350 pounds of vertical weight on your hitch. So just double check to make sure that your tongue weight capacity on your hitch, I would say 350 pounds just to be safe. Now, they do recommend that you only use this for Class 3 and Class 4 hitches, so that weight capacity should be covered, but you want to double check that just in case. But the way it's going to be able to pull that up for you is it's going to have 26 feet of this galvanized steel cable, and that's going to be able to accommodate that weight for you. It's got these aluminum pulleys at the top that are machined really well, so the pull on this when you're bringing it up and putting it down is very smooth, and you're not getting a lot of binding out of it. So let's take a look at some of the dimensions. We're going to be measuring from the center of our hitch pin hole, and if we do that to the inside of our post right here, we're going to come up with 22 inches. To the outside, it'll be 24.5. And the other important measurement is going to be from the inside of this post to the outside of our pulley up here is going to be about 17.75 inches. And with those dimensions, you should be able to have full access to your truck bed with the tailgate down and be able to swivel this around when you're loading it up. And it'll hang over pretty much halfway between your tailgate and your truck bed. Of course, that depends on the length of your tailgate. And you notice that I just swiveled it, and really all this does is this post here is resting on this plate right here. There's a post going up inside it to secure it on here pretty firmly. But that is what's going to allow us to rotate our hoist so that we can go from lifting off the ground and then bringing the load around and into our truck bed. So now let's take a look at it in action. We've got it connected to a smaller generator here. Now this is by no means at that 300-pound capacity. It's light enough that I could probably lift it up here if I really was determined to, but the whole point of this is to be able to do things like this without any kind of injury, so why risk it? I've got my hoist here. I'm going to use that to get this into my truck bed. So I'm just going to go ahead and crank up on it. And this is a pretty smooth crank. One of the things I will say about this cable that I noticed is that when you have no weight on it and you go to crank it up, it's a pretty stiff, kind of heavy cable, and you don't always get a really good spool when you do that. If you're spooling it up with nothing on it, I would hold on to it or have somebody else hold on to it for you while you spool it up, just to make sure it gets on here in a good, even way. So I've got it above the tailgate. We're just going to lock it into position here. That's going to keep this upright for me so I can take control of my cargo, and we can maneuver it around. And once I've got it in position here, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got control of my handle. And we're going to go ahead and unlock it. And I'm just going to crank it back down into the bed. And now I can unhook it. Now, when you're not using it, this is not an item that should be staying in your hitch. When it's not being used, you should be removing it from your hitch completely. But as you can see, it's really tall, it's really cumbersome, so how does that work? Well, it does break down into 3 parts. It is intended to be something mobile that you could take with you on those hunting trips or to those job sites to be used when needed. So all you really need to do is this top portion here. One thing is, during assembly, make sure that this particular bolt that you put in, you don't put it in too tight. We don't want it pinching down and clamping onto this portion because it is meant to be taken off and removed just like so. And this is the heaviest portion of our setup here. So once we get that down, go ahead and lay it down in your truck bed. With that out of the way, this portion here just simply slips off of this round post. That's what's helping it swivel around. Now, as you can see, we've already got a few scratches in the powder coat on there. My recommendation would be right out of the box, you get that portion lubricated because, you know, again, we only had about maybe 90 to 100 pounds on here at a full weight limit of 300. Swiveling that around is going to cause some scratching and things. So my recommendation again would be to lubricate that portion really, really well before you use it. But we could just set that aside. And for our final portion, it's going to come directly out of our hitch. You will need to provide your own hitch pin and clip. But once you have that out, you're able to remove your shank, get that in your truck bed, and now you're able to hit the road. So that's a look at the Viking Solutions Rack Jack 2. And if after watching this video you've still got some questions about it, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. We'd love to answer those for you. It'll help you and other neighbors just like you make the best decision for yourself. Once again, this is Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.